You can commence whenever you're ready.
Hold on, I'm going to mute everyone, and then I'm just going to unmute Ismini. So.
Dr. Ralph?
You're on, Ismini.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's really, really great to see you all, and I hope everyone's doing well. I think as I believe the folks on the committee and city planning and HPD know, all of our projects, 700 Oneida, Building 1A at the Peninsula, and Building 1B, were all determined as essential. And so we have actually been working over the last 7 and 8 months, and not without some delays, so suppliers and contractors and other subcontractors, there were slowdowns due to some activities. There was a huge amount of DOB activity. We've been practicing. You'll see our PowerPoint in a minute. Social distancing has also, there's just a whole new way of doing the work. But we're really proud to say that we've been managing this, and we have a presentation for you on the Peninsula 1A and 1B. And before we dive into that, I'll just give you a quick update on 700 Oneida. So 700 Oneida is at 85% complete. We are just actually putting the final touches on the first floor, and then getting ready to go through all of our inspections to get our certificate of occupancy. Our goal is to have the building have TCO by the end of the year. We did our lottery over the summer. It closed at the end of August, and we're waiting for HPD, and then we opened the lottery because the mail was really, really slow, and we had a huge number, which I expected, and I'm glad. A huge number of paper applications came in from the Bronx, and so we input them. It took us 3 days to input the paper applications, and now HPD's been generating the log. So any day now we should be getting the log from HPD, and then we will actually start outreach. To start preparing folks and selecting residents for 700 Oneida. So really, really, really excited about that. And I expect people will probably start moving in not early next year.
Do you have anything else on?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyone has any questions? Paula?
I do. What's a TCO?
I'm sorry, Paula. Temporary certificate of occupancy.
Okay.
No, that was Cynthia. Yeah.
That was me.
Hi, Cynthia. Sorry, Cynthia. Sorry.
Hi, Miss Minnie. How are you?
I hope you're well, Paula. Miss you.
I know. It's Minnie. Do you know how many applications you filled for that?
No, I don't know yet. That's as soon as I know, I'll send Ralph and you and Bobby and you an email.
And could you also indicate the district? How many from the district is 1059?
Yes, I will. So as soon as we get the log from HPD, Paula, I will tell you the total number and how many came from the zip codes that are CB2.
Thank you.
Ismini, I just need to know, was there a lottery for this? And who did you notify us on that lottery? And when was it?
Oh, yes, absolutely notified you several times. I was over the summer. It was open from from June 28th to August 28th.
All right. Did you get a call from the board, from Ralph or from Cynthia, stating that, okay, that there was no problems, that we'll put the information out?
We put the information out. They emailed us. They didn't call us. They did email. She's been emailing back and forth with the board. And we send it out to the board as well as we put it on social media.
All right. The only question I have is that, remember that we set up that little group between you, Altagracia, and Paula to to assist those that are to qualify. Did that happen?
I called Altagracia, and she was fine. I dropped applications off to Altagracia for people, and Paula was on the email, so I did not talk to Paula, but I worked with Altagracia. I worked because I know that her people were going to be much more on the paper applications. And Bobby, you were included. I know it was just a very weird time. We didn't have any choice. We had to market during COVID. We actually marketed 2 projects during COVID, and it was very, very peculiar. We fielded a lot of calls. Maria at the point fielded calls. I was in touch with Ralph and Cynthia via email to make sure that everybody, if they were getting calls, if they were getting outreach, to make sure that that we were touching as many people as we possibly could from the community board.
Well, I understand that. My only concern has been with everybody, that everybody's been sending out the information during a major pandemic issue in the city of New York. And in all true honesty, I don't think many people paid attention to those flyers or whatever. And so I don't know what kind of true outreach was done out there. But if you have your list and HPD has their list, then we'll just wait to see how many 10459 and 55 and 74, I think it is.
Okay.
All right, I think that's with 700 Menaida. Now, do you want to discuss La Peninsula?
Sure. I do want to put up the PowerPoint, Ralph.
Oh yeah, I got it. I'm sorry.
The thing. Great. So this actually is a picture that was probably taken in the last 48 hours. Again, Josh can correct me if I'm wrong, but the buildings are really moving along. The building 1A, I'll let building 1B talk about 1B. 1A is the roof is on. The cladding, you can see the metal cladding is on all 3 sides of the building, and we're waiting to install the glass. And the glass will be installed sometime at the end of October, beginning of November. So the building is behind schedule, but is moving along. We're about 70% complete right now. And so we're expecting to finish early in the upcoming year. Ralph, do you want to go to the
Are there any questions for building? Yeah, sure. Are there any questions for building 1A?
Yeah, so here's some pictures for building 1A here.
When did you say the glass is going up?
At the end of October, beginning of November. Actually, the storefront, this glass, which is the Bentheim, which is a fancy glass, that's at this space here that we're looking at is where the Lightbox space is for the media and production studio. And so all of that that's open now, right now there's nothing there. That's all going to be a glass called Bentheim glass that let the light filter really nicely into that space.
My understanding has been that there's been some problems that most of your tenants have left, that you don't have most of those tenants anymore. I don't know what tenants you have now, and I don't think that the board knows what tenants you have now or don't have.
Yes, so I actually did not bring a slide with all the tenants. So if you go back, so in 2016, there was an entire list of possible interested tenants, right? That included Il Forno, it included Bascom, it included the Bronx Brewery. There was a cookie company. There were several companies. They were all either Bronx-based or interested in being in the Bronx. Lightbox, and as you know, over the last 4 years, life has happened. David from Lightbox has passed away and left us with a space that was designed actually specifically for Lightbox that we are actually actively talking to 2 other organizations that are doing media and media production and studio production because the space is so kind of set up for them. And then you are correct that over time, the original tenants fell off, including a year or more ago, we were left with 3 tenants, Il Forno, the Bronx Brewery, and Bascom. And the brewery decided to step off, all very good relations, because they actually made a decision that they actually didn't want to brew beer. And so this is a production space. They wanted to basically throw parties, and this is not a venue, a party venue. This is a production light industrial building. So they left. Then we met with Il Forno, and Il Forno, at the end of like a huge amount of time and money investment in Il Forno, we actually came to a joint decision and a recommendation to them, to Ramon, that they should actually buy a building. They right now rent a building and they're paying like $12 a square foot, originally $5 a square foot in space, and have saved up a huge amount of money. So our recommendation to Ramon had been that this didn't quite, he kept, the rent at $18 was high, and there were some very interesting, he had some really specific criteria. And so we actually thought it made a lot of sense for him to not come. Again, he's totally welcome, but we kind of came to that understanding. I think we presented that to the board last year. Kelston from Bascom is completely still interested, and what we've been doing over the last since the building really started to come out of the ground, which is about in last winter, right before actually the pandemic, we've been doing a huge outreach. We've put the building with all of this with pictures and square footage out on LoopNet, which is where light industrial and business people look. We have hired, we've put it out through all types of food media outlets, and we have probably over a dozen to 15 interested tenants. All of the tenants that we have, separate from the production second floor space, food tenants. We have a coffee maker who is currently in the banknote building and is really paying too much rent. He actually is going to have to either move or close down. And so he is actually actively negotiating his lease right now to move out of the banknote building and move into this building. So we are we're focused on the Bronx. We're focused on food. We had a tour of the building with interested tenants 3 weeks ago. 6 groups came out, and people really started to kind of pick their interested spaces. So what I can do, Bobby, is give you send to Ralph a list and an update. Companies, they are almost all minority or women-owned businesses. Several of them are currently in the Bronx and need to move out of their spaces, and they're all food-related. And Kelston is still extremely interested, and we have reserved a spot for him. And Kelston really suffered during the pandemic, and so but I told him that we were going to do everything we could to make sure that he he was going to get here.
So if he stays and you get out of the 15, you said you're getting about 6 more positives out of the 15. Am I correct?
Yes, and there are 11 spaces.
And there are 11 spaces. How much in the percentage is that taken care of 1A?
What percentage, if we get the 6th in Kelston, what would that look like?
Yeah.
It actually takes, it's about 30% of the building, and the reason it's only 30% of the building is because the space you're looking at on the screen right now, Bobby, is actually a huge space. It's a 13,000 square foot space. So of the food space, it's about 50% of the food spaces of the 11, and then the other the production media space is separate.
So, Ralph, are you still there? Because I understood from Ralph that there was possibly the brewery was, I think, still sort of interest, but there was a discussion about the negotiations on the rent. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know nothing about that.
Or was it you had told me, Ralph, that there was somebody that was interested from originally, and then they walked away, and then now they're thinking about coming back?
No, it was the brewery, right? But it wasn't about rent. It was just about the concept of what Ismini was saying about actually brewing and catering. But I did have a conversation with Paul. I think Ismini, if you don't, just reach out, or someone reach out just to see what you think it was, because he's thinking something else. Maybe a different idea.
Oh, good. Okay, sure. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Paul Ramirez. So that's what but it wasn't about the rent, Bobby. It was
okay.
Just about
that's why I'm asking for you to chime in, so like this, because I know that it was something that somebody wanted to have a discussion on coming back, but I didn't know what it was for. If it was
all right, that's what it was.
Great. I will definitely reach out to Paul tomorrow. Absolutely. Thanks.
All right. All right.
And Bobby, I think, what you're just making me think. I was thinking about it and I didn't act on it. I will reach out to Ramon also. Now that the building, again, I don't know, people have really, survived or, kind of made it through this pandemic in very, very different ways. And so I will reach out to Ramon also at El Forno and see what's happening. Okay, really, I appreciate you kind of bringing that up.
Thank you. What's next?
So I think we can move to 1B. We're going to go back and forth, Ralph, with 1A and 1B because we were kind of, but I think you're going to see some images now of 1B if you progress the screen.
Absolutely. So moving on. So we still here.
That's 1A. That's fine. That's the inside. You can see the spaces. And here you go. Here's 1B.
Okay, 1B. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You might want to who's going to talk for 1B? Blaze, I don't know who's talking.
I'll do it.
Okay, great. Okay.
Everyone. So we've made some great progress on 1B. There was a bit of a stall during the outbreak of COVID in the city, but we've reached a good stride. Work is at the 11th floor. We'll be topping out a wing of the building, I believe next week. And the full building will top out in November. You can change the slide. Just some more pictures of. You want to move to the slide?
Excuse me, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, if you want to speak up about one.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Speak up because I didn't hear what you said about 1.
Is it possible folks can mute?
I'm just going to mute everybody. That's fine. And then Josh will be the presenter.
All right.
Go ahead, Josh.
Thank you. I was just saying that we're making some good progress at 1B. We've laid plank on the 11th floor. We were supposed to lay some more plank today, but it was a bit windy. We should be topping out a wing of the building in the next week or two and topping out the entire building by before Thanksgiving, mid-November. So the plank trucks will disappear after mid-November. So you can move to the next slide. So some more footage. We're lucky enough to have a drone so we could take these fantastic images. We're scheduled for TCO in January of 2022. Initially, we projected November, but due to COVID and some other minor delays, we're now slated for January of a little over a year from now. Next slide. Another aerial shot. You guys are familiar with that. And we can move to the next one. It's just the next slide is just the phasing plan. So
Ralph, just wait a second. Let me just get it right. You're getting TCO in November of 2022?
November of this year will be topping out. January of 2022 is TCO.
January. Okay, that's what I wanted to get clear. January of 2022, you're going to get TCO or expecting?
Well, at this point, we're expecting. That's the plan.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Don't quote me on it. But we're in good shape right now, barring another huge breakout. But I think we know how to deal with that. So things are going well. So as you know, the site plan, phase 1 on the northwest corner at Tiffany, and phase 1A is at the corner of Tiffany and Spofford. Real quick, we're working with the city to close phase 2, but the city's been in a bit of a budget crunch after recent events, so we're trying to get a handle on when that will be. We are in with DOB on our new building permit for phase 2. So now it becomes a conversation of when the city has the ability, the financial bandwidth to fund the project. So I don't think it's going to be sooner than December of next year, December of 21, that we close on phase 2. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Zamina, you want to just do a highlight of 1A?
I think we talked. I went through most of these points.
You got everything covered.
Yeah. So I think we're good.
And I think we pretty much covered everything at 1B. We've got hours of operation. We've gone through the Saturday permit. So we're working Saturdays to catch up on time, and we're 35% complete. So you can go to the next slide. My colleague Serena Dang at Hudson will tag team back and forth. So you want to take over?
Hi, everyone. So I will go over the measures that the buildings are undertaking to be compliant with COVID-19 requirements.
Excuse me, what was your name, please?
Hi, my name is Serena Dang.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we have no touch temperature readings taken for all site workers before they enter the site, and the workers are social distancing all day. The workers are all provided with proper PPE, and they're aware of the protocols to, social distancing and maintaining cleanliness and hygiene. There are hand washing stations throughout the sites, and the workers are told to use the hand washing and sanitizing stations throughout the day and when they exit the sites. The sites undergo regularly scheduled cleaning and sanitizing. And for Building 1B, there are, pretty big number of workers on site right now, so probably averaging about 90 to 100 a day. And so given, that the amount of workers to manage, 1B does have a medic who does the daily temperature readings and also is responsible for maintaining social distancing and encouraging and monitoring social distancing for all the workers on the 1B site. That is this slide, and then I think the next slide as well. Right, so we just split up these COVID measures on 2 slides, but, basically 1A and 1B are all, putting into place extensive COVID-19 safety measures. I also know that for Building 1B, the DOB has visited the 1B site 2 times now to check for COVID-19 compliance, and both of those visits, they found everything to be in order, and no concerns were presented or any violations issued. So we are definitely maintaining all safety measures on both sites. So along with the COVID measures, we are continuing to manage aspects of construction logistics and security, keeping control of any noise, dust, or pest issues with the fence bordering the site to mitigate noise and dust. There are acoustical mats to help muffle the sound, and we're maintaining baiting for pest control. And there are, as far as pedestrian pathways, so we have those pathways outside of the construction fencing, and there are flag persons that manage the movement of vehicles in and out of the site, and we are coordinating the deliveries with NYPD. And then as far as security, we do have cameras along the perimeter of the whole site, and security guards are staffed during the off hours. I want to mention that Luke and Bernie from the construction side, the general contractor side for Building 1B are also available if anybody has any specific questions. So next slide. So we are also continuing to engage consultants to help us with compliance and also, maintaining efforts to, to meet, efforts around local hiring and community outreach. And we are, working with local partners for, workforce training and recruitment purposes, and continuing to, ensure that we're making all the efforts possible to perform local hiring when possible. Next slide.
Before you go to anything else, just need to know how many jobs are being provided locally? East Meeting?
Yes, the perfect timing question.
Excuse me?
Your question is perfectly timed with our presentation.
No, I understand. I see the numbers in front of me, but it's not telling me how many people that represents. It just tells me 40.51% minority and women business owners. What does that 41%, that 40.51% show? Is it 2 people, 3, 10?
If you look down at the local labor, you'll see that 20% for 1A and 25% of 1B. I know we've got 100 guys on site each day. So if you want to break down the numbers, we can provide that to you after the meeting.
Please provide that to the district manager and the chair, because we would like to know how many local hirings did occur, since you're already using Bronx Works and Miguel. I'd like to know how many that represents.
So I think, so Bobby, we will get you, yes, we're showing you percentages, and we will get you actual numbers of people.
Yeah, and as well as the companies.
They're coming. They're on the slide.
Yeah, we have the company.
They're coming.
Yeah, because my biggest on these projects is that you guys come in and all well and good, but we don't have the jobs, and then we see companies from Long Island and Westchester County coming in and bringing in supplies to you guys, and I really would not hope that happens, because that was an agreement that we all made. And we haven't been in touch with each other for several months. So I just want to keep that in everybody's mind.
Yep.
Hi.
All right. Well, Bobby, we'll definitely be sure to get you the numbers and keep you up to date on local hiring for both sites.
Thank you.
Of course. So the last few slides just provide more detail for both sites around the names of the local companies and the MWBE companies, just to give you some more detail and some specific names on that. So feel free to advance through these next 4 or 5 slides just to get a sense of who is, what kinds of trades, whether they're local or MWBE or both. So if you move over to the next slide, we put that breakdown there. Right, so this is the firms for 1A, you can see, and then the next slide will show for 1B the local companies, if you want to advance. And the slide after that will be MWBE firms. Just to, again, give you...
on your previous page, Oliverio, what was that? Oliverio Company? Yeah, Olivero Construction. Where are they from? Because I see they have several segments of 1B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments of 1B. You see anybody?
They're literally down the block. It's Civetta.
The two?
They're around the corner. They're a block away.
Okay.
From the site. They actually walk to the site.
Can you get those addresses to Ralph also, please?
And the reason it's so many trades is because it's separated in our construction budget, but it's all related. It's all related to, if you look at the category, it's mainly digging, demoing, foundation. Demoing, digging, foundation.
All right. Well, okay.
I see Classico's on there, right? Classico Contracting?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, they're there, and so is F&F, and I know Royal Flush. It's out on Webster Avenue, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's a few there. It's just that when you see so many, one name for so many segments of a construction, and I never heard of that company before. And I don't know if the district manager had, but That's a concern.
So that was, the conclusion of our update on the peninsula. Does anybody have any questions?
Madam Chair, do you have any questions?
I had a question, but I sort of lost it. Just let me go back. I want to reflect. Just a minute. You said about for the protocol for COVID. Presently, most of the work is being done in building 1A. Both work is being done in both buildings at the time.
It's really hard to hear you, Paula.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Paula is asking questions as far as COVID. They're doing in both 1A and 1B measures on site on what they're doing. Paula, I know you're on the phone.
Yeah.
I can forward you the presentation.
Okay.
And I'll forward it to the executive. I'll forward it to Cynthia, and I'll Cynthia send it to all the respective members on the committee. I'll do that now.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I want to make sure that Ralph gets all the numbers and addresses to these companies. I'd like to see who they are.
We'll get all the addresses and names to Ralph.
Yes, please.
Anybody have any other questions? All right.
All right. This was great then. I'll put back up the agenda. Paula, we're done with the presentations. We're up to any new business.
Good evening, it's me again. Anyone have any new business? Going twice. No one has any new business. Okay, so we're moving on to old business. Does anyone have any old business? I just want to say, isn't council member having a food drive on the 8th, which is tomorrow?
I know he's planning on one, but I don't know if it's happening or not.
Oh, okay.
So either John or him will reach out to Cynthia and me. Normally they give us a couple of days notice so we can advertise it. But I have not received anything.
Oh, I seen it posted. I shared it on Facebook. It's supposed to be tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that got canceled. So.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so any announcements? I guess that's the one I had. Okay, so I would like to get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Thank you. Well, everyone is, let me just see. Hold on a moment, Paula. Everybody's off mute right now. I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to say. We have 4 callers.
No one has any questions?
How many numbers are there?
We got Joyce was on, and Jeffrey and Paul. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4 was on. And Joyce was on. Joyce is on too.
I'm still there.
Gracia there?
I'm still there.
Joyce is still on.
Joyce, you have any questions or anything?
No. I'm good.
Okay. I don't know if Altagracia is on.
Whose number ends in 43?
I don't know, but you know what? It's too late now because we already opened it up. I'm just going to mute them all.
jail sentence in the name of the Lord Jesus. We ask, oh God, that you will.
Oh, the meeting is adjourned, right?
We're hearing a sermon. Someone got a sermon. This is the beauty of this, right? Well, I'm going to mute everyone for now. I think everyone had an opportunity to speak. Paula was asking for a motion, and then Bobby seconded, and we do have quorum for this committee. So I don't know how y'all want to proceed with this.
Any nays on the any nays from the committee members to
adjourn?
To adjourn.
All right, there it is. There's none.
All right, so it's unanimous to adjourn, Ralph.
Ms. Meany, thank you so much.
I want to thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really good to see you.
We'll be in touch if anything.
Yeah.
And
we have some
Serena, thank you for the presentation. And Josh, thank you so much for the presentation. It was very, I like the breakdown of the numbers, but as the chairman said, if we can get some addresses and some more details on the contractors, that'll be great.
Thank you. Thanks, Serena.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.